Hari Om. Namaste. Welcome to the series of the Sanatana Dharma. We are here today to discuss another Pativrata in the series of the women's progress that we were aiming at. What is the woman's role? How should a woman be as a wife, especially? How to connect with a man? How to connect with her role in the universe perfectly, in spite of all the adversities, how to understand my role, how to do justice to it. This is a very big question in the lives of all the women, I suppose. And in this generation, it is getting more and more serious. It is getting answerless, almost answerless question. Nobody is able to explain or make understand. Very few people understand the role, and they get success in explaining it to others even lesser. We are lost. We are lost. So in that background, as we have commented in the last video, that the role models for us, they will guide us. Okay, let's go back to the role models who are going to show us the way, what to do, how to do, when, how much to efforts to put. Okay, in Telugu there is a saying like, don't pull until it breaks. Okay, so let's not make it the broken relations. Let's not drop off things in the midway, where we could have won the battle, where we could have overcome that obstacle, where we could have easily made up with the situation, but we chose to leave it off in the middle and go away. So let's stop from that silly things. Let's restrain ourselves into the right path. Let's train ourselves into the right path and restrain from the negative activities. Okay. So in this background, with this small introduction, I want to enter the story of another Pativrata. Okay. So she is a lady in the Mahabharata. Okay. I see her story. She is a Brahmani. She is a Brahmana Patni. Okay. So she was a very, very chaste lady. And she used to serve her husband like a god. Okay. Like a god. She would keep everything else separately. Okay. We are going to learn about her today. Listen to her story. So it's very interesting one. In the childhood, they would tell us this story to keep away from ego. To keep away from ego. And it would just prick us. Like, oh my, it will like bring in little pickle kind of thing inside us. Oh, that kind of. Okay, let us see what happens in the story. The story opens with a rishi. He is another rishi whose name is Kaushika. His name is Kaushika Rishi. Some Kaushika Gotra. In the Gotra, there are many people. So one of them is Kaushika. So he left the house for tapasya. He just was residing in the forest for a long time. He followed all the austerities. Okay. And he was learned. He was a Brahmana by birth. He learned Vedas, Upanishads. He followed Dharma. Okay. And he was like reciting the Vedas in the middle of a forest. After a lot of austerities, he was just reciting. Then what happened? Above the tree, he was sitting below the tree, and above the tree on one of the branches, there was one bird sitting. Okay, there was one bird sitting on the branches. And you know that bird, what he did one stupid thing. He dropped his that on the head of the rishi. Okay, he was very naughty crow kind of, some balaka is given. I don't know what it is in English, some bird. He dropped. So this fellow got very angry. Naturally, he'll get anger. Anybody can get angry when a bird drops upon us. It's everybody's ex. We don't feel very good about it. So he just looked at her like this with anger. Where it fall in the direction, he just looked like this. Immediately, what happened was that the bird caught fire and he died. That bird, I mean, it's not a funny, it's funny thing to hear, but it's not funny for them with whom this incident happened. So he just looked at the bird and the bird got like burnt to ashes immediately right on the spot and he fell on the ground. Okay. So then he uh, felt very bad. Why did this happen? I should not have been so angry, and I should have spared that bird. I could have controlled for 1 second, then the bird would have lived. What did I do? Oh my, alas! He just felt stupid about himself. Then it was his eating time, so lunch time. So what he did, they don't cook for themselves. Those who are in tapasya depend upon the grihasthas for their food. The grihasthas are the householders who reside in the village. And this person was sitting in the forest under a tree and doing all these activities. Then he went to the nearby village for getting his food. He will do the beggar. He will go like and beg for food. Then some householders will give him some food to eat. So he went to one house and asked for food. So please give me some food. I'm a tapasvi from the forest, he said. Then the stree said, the woman in that house, she said, please wait a little bit. And then she went to just to wash the utensil and to give him some food. She was just washing. Within that time, her husband came. Within that time. Okay, so one side, this Kaushika was asked to wait. He was waiting outside for food. He was somehow feeling very hungry. He needed food. But then her husband came and he was even more hungry. He was even more tired and he wanted food immediately. Now, naturally, this lady ran behind the husband and she just arranged for his rest, for his food, for all kinds of good things that a wife should be doing when the husband arrives home. It's a sweet moment when the husband comes back from his work or for the food. He left the office for the food, then he takes the food and goes away. Something like that. Within that situation, so she forgot everything about Kaushika. She forgot, totally forgot. So she was like cooking the food and she kept the things ready maybe and she could feed the husband and all. Usually it takes some time, at least 20 minutes to half an hour for somebody to eat his lunch. So the time was spent and then she was doing I mean, I don't know how you say, the legs are paining and we press the legs for that relief. Okay. Yeah. So she was doing it. It's called Pada Samvahanam in Samskrtam. So she was doing that pressing feet. Suddenly she remembered, oh, that Kaushika, that poor Brahmana, is waiting outside. What did I do? Then, as she saw the husband was almost fast asleep, she just left him and came out and said, oh, Kaushika, please. I mean, she didn't know the name. She said, oh, Tapasvi, please excuse me. I'm really, really, really sorry that I forgot. Just give me 2 minutes. I'll bring the food for you. He said, how dare you? Somebody is waiting at your door. You ask him to wait, totally forget and go away. How dare you do that? Okay. Is this that you are taught in your house? All kinds of such things, he said. Then she said, look, I said sorry. I did not do it on purpose. There was a reason. My husband had come back. Then he says that, okay, your husband counts. I don't count. Our guests are not welcome at your house. Then put a board. Guests are not welcome. Only husband is welcome. So you give that place. So you have made me down. You give me secondary position than your husband. And she said, yes, of course, he's my husband. He needs the first place. It's not that I don't have any respect for you, but it somehow happened that I forgot. Please forgive me. And one more thing she says at that point, in the childhood, we used to be like very odd by at this point. She said, I am not that crow on the tree. Don't look at me like that. I'm not going to burn down to ashes, she says. Okay, I'm not the crow on the tree. Don't look. This is a version of a story, but in the story, she says, I know about that crow. Don't be surprised. You know how I know? I'm sitting here in my house. That incident happened there in the forest. How do you think I know about it? He was surprised. Kaushika was totally speechless. What this lady knows about that crow which burned down to ashes? How come she knows? Then she says, this is the secret. This is how, with this, the service of the husband, being devoted to him, doing his seva without a second thought, forgetting everything else in the world just for him, gives this power to every woman who does it. That is the secret. That is how I know about that crow. And don't try to test all your anger upon me. And anger is very bad thing. First, get out of it. Don't show anger to people. Be in control. Anger does lot of bad things. And before that, he asks her, all before this event, he asks her, don't you know how tapasvis are, how powerful they are? Then she gives all the instances also where with anger, lot of rishis did lot of things, great things they did. She gives the examples of them. She's, well, very well I know. But anger is anger. It's bad. You should always stay away from that. Okay, so she gives him the lesson, then she gives him the food. He is very happy. With your words, I lost all my anger. From now on, I will never be angry. Not only on that crow, not only upon you, but on anybody else. I'm not going to be angry anytime. This is the greatest lesson that I have learned today. And for all my life, it will remain with me. Thank you so much, oh good lady. Thank you for the food. Thank you for the advice. And I really appreciate your devotion towards your husband. In my anger, I had said something bad about you. I had spoken low about your husband and your dedication to him. So please don't mind about it. Just forgive me. Okay. And he seeks the forgival and he leaves. Okay. So this is the story. Now, naturally, after the story, we discuss about the lesson we learned. Okay. So one thing I love about the story is that bit where she says, I'm not the crow on the tree. Okay. It's so freaking and it is so like somebody is directly hit on the heart. Oh my. So our voice is stuck. Okay. So that is one good point. And this story equates one who is doing penance, one who is doing tapasya, like the activities of a wife who is a devoted wife. We can say Pativrata as a devoted wife, that's all. We don't have any other word in English that can. So somebody who is husband-minded, husband-devoted, like that. Okay, we can say that. So this is equal to serving husband and doing everything for him with single-mindedness, like you get up for the same purpose, you sleep for the same purpose, your whole day is filled for the same purpose. Rest of all the things are secondary. That mindedness is called Pativratyam. She is a Pativrata who does this. So her powers are equal to a penance doer who is doing tapasya in the forest, closing his eyes, shutting his outside world, shutting his senses to the outside happenings. And with this, he is doing so much, keeping out of family, keeping away from his people and doing all that. But a wife gets it like this. Okay. From the day one, she is taught how to serve the husband, how to be obliging to him, how to be his. So, as we discussed last time, here the husband's, in this story at least, the husband's character is not mentioned, just that he comes home very with in hurry, in hunger. He doesn't notice the person outside. Why he's waiting, he doesn't care. Just that, okay. He should have cared, at least as a householder. It should have been like why that person is waiting, or in his hunger he did not care. And he got his services done and he just relaxes. He doesn't expect more from the wife than only her being with him, the friendliness, the what you call as the time she gives, the quality time that we talk of these days, that husband and wife are not having with each other because of their jobs, their other activities, and thanks to social media, that many couples are getting separated. Okay. So with this, they are not spending time. This story has such a sweet spending together. You know, they are all described in the shlokas very beautifully. How she prepares food for him, how she feeds him, and how she does the seva to him, how she makes him sleep happily. All these, like she does the feet pressing and all. Okay, all that she is explained in this, in the conversation between both of them is very interesting. The Kaushika, the Brahmana, and the lady. So it's called Pativratyopakyanam, and it occurs in the Mahabharata main text. It occurs. Okay, it mainly tells about how not to be egoistic. Like Kaushika, he was very like, see, I am standing here, I am not getting food. How dare she, was his thought initially. Then he changes it and then he becomes kind of uh, affected by her. And he was like, he is applauding her powers and her sincerity and her committedness. Okay. So by this, we end the story, and I have nothing more to add in this. The story itself is a big lesson. I need not summarize or give anything extra added to that. Hope all the women understand that spirit. Hope all of them are guided by these great women, the great path showers. Let us be all thankful to them. So thanks to this lady whose name also we do not know. She is a Pativrata, and namaskara to her. Thanks to Kaushika, thanks to her husband, the lady's husband, and everybody who gave us a very good lesson, okay, to remember and follow and how to be in our lives. Namo Namaha.